Never a dull moment in MLS Next Pro when Philadelphia and Red Bull New York are involved. Two programs with a lot to boast, trophies to flaunt, and talents to showcase. Who will have more to offer this fine Sunday? Let's find out together. Welcome one and all to the broadcast on MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. My name is Mark Schoenster. We're here at Super Apart for match number 2 between Union 2 and Red Bull New York 2. It's always an exciting clash when these two get together. Real stalwarts here in this league and also on the developmental side of things as far as academies into the pros are concerned. Let's take a peek at our starting lineups. First off, on the home side, Union 2, two changes from their game last weekend. A goalie change for both teams. So on this end, it's Tobias Shefzik, the 17-year-old who will be getting the start. The first teamer once again getting some burn here on the second unit. Also getting a chance to, and then on this side of things, it's Andrew Rick who will be getting the start for Union 2 from Bethesda, Maryland. Supplemental slot, first teamer as well. So those are the two goalkeepers that are starting, and then Malik Jakupovic also getting the start here after not playing in that game last week against CT United. That puts Eddie Davis back into the midfield on the left winger spot. Then I mentioned on the Red Bull New York side of things already, sitting in the goalkeeper spot, Tobias Shefzik, and then making his debut with the Next Pro team is Joyu Masanka Bungi, who is a first-teamer on loan from RB Leipzig. Already has 2 MLS appearances, now making his first appearance with the second team. Outside of that, it's the same other 9 players who started in what was a confident win against Crew 2 at home last weekend. You'll be looking at Rojas, World Mitchell at the top of the formation, but it's a really solid middle of the pitch as well with Cadigan and Worth anchoring things. And talk about a great center back pair in Aymar Sanchez and Julian Bazan, who made his debut with the team last weekend and had the complete game according to his head coach. Our head official for this match is Kalin Radosov. My name is Mark Schoenster, excited to get this one going for you here. Well, we're going to have to try this again here. The whistle sounds, and now we're off and running here from Subaru Park. It's Red Bull New York 2 and Union 2 doing battle for the second time this season. The first matchup was a 1-1 draw that led to penalty kicks that Union 2 were able to pick up the extra point in on the road. So we'll see how this second one unravels here on nextpro.com and on OneFootball. This one will be played all the way back to Andrew Rick, the goalkeeper for Union 2. It was a 2-1 victory on the road last week for Union 2. They were able to beat CT United. A game that they went down early in that game, and it was a match that in the early stages, Ryan Richter, the head coach of Union 2, mentioned that they struggled with the direct approach of CT United, and then as the game went along, they grew into the match. And although the 2 goals they scored in that game were definitely high-quality individual efforts, he was really pleased with the team quality build-up leading up to those moments. So although the goal themselves were 2 talented players showcasing their abilities, There was a lot of contributions from the rest of the team to make sure that that opportunity was even presented in the first place. First time this season that Union 2 are able to pick up all 3 points from a deficit. Doing that on the road as well, that's always an extra layer of positivity that you like to have. Around 60 degrees in Chester, Pennsylvania, as it stands right now. Pretty good weather to be playing the sport in. I don't think there will be too many complaints from those guys out on the pitch. First touches for Joyu Masanka Bungi, making his first appearance with the second team. Just 19 years old, from Belgium. Spent time in the Leipzig Academy and is now on loan here with Red Bull New York. Trying to get him acclimated into the system and style of play here in the United States. Of course, a lot of cohesion between all the Red Bull programs across the world. It was a 4-1 win at home last time out for Red Bull New York 2. Up against Crew 2, or another team that are one of those contending sides in the Eastern Conference this season, and usually a side in most years that steps out a pretty good squad here in MLS Next Pro. Of course, these are two teams that are always in that conversation for contenders in the Eastern Conference, currently sitting at 2nd and 4th. Red Bull New York 2, currently the team in 2nd. They're always contending for that top position, and right now both of them just trying to keep pace with Crown Legacy, who are sitting in first place in the early stages of the season. Contact is made, and the ref will point to the corner, flag for a corner. First set piece opportunity of the day for either side. The home side looking to see if they could break through here. Get it out of harm's way. They could get another cross in here. This one will stay on the ground. Tapped away nicely by Masanka Bungi. Having to step up and get a piece of that one. Tobias Shevzik, the teenager, flying out of his line to knock that one away. But a 4-1 win against Crew 2 at home for Red Bull 2. And it was a game that Dominic Vollert, the head man for Red Bull 2, mentioned that what you saw in that game is what we are bringing to the table every single day. It's a group that holds themselves to a high standard. High standard that this team holds themselves to, talking about the visitors. And you mentioned you can't just show up for match day. These guys are on it every single training session. That game, they really carved up Crew 2 in the first half offensively and then left them frustrated in the second half, which is the effect a team can have when they're performing really well, especially at home. distributes to Uzcategui, his center back, before they make their way up the pitch. There's Eddie Davis, rolling it forward, and Shevsik is there to claim. It's always exciting when these two teams do battle, always contending in MLS Next Pro, and there's a lot of similarities between these two outside of just the proximity of these two clubs as far as geographically, but you've got two academies that have done a really good job generating talent over the years. First teams that have done well, the second teams have done well. Ryan Richter mentioning that they hold themselves to a high standard for every game, but there is a little something about this one in particular when you get to play against Red Bull New York too. I mean, some of the academy guys who've been playing within either of these club systems for several years are all too familiar with playing the guys on the other side. Interesting thing, though, from the perspective of Ryan Richter, is he was not pleased with the way they performed in the first meeting between these two, even though they end up getting more points out of the affair than their opposition. So he wants to see his side make it right here in the second bout of the season. Sometimes that's how the sport can go. You can get the better of a result without actually performing too well, and especially at this level when you are trying to develop players and develop a way of playing, it's even more important first the performance versus the result. Of course, if you're performing really well, then the results are also going to come. But it doesn't always work out that way. The first foray for the visitors, trying to make something happen. Sanka Bungi playing it out wide to Nelic. Feed it in centrally and doesn't find any success there. The right-hand side for Dennis Yangor. Sliding down the right-hand side, an opportunity brewing. Still bouncing in the penalty area. Sanka Bungi will collect it and play it back to his midfield. Evan Cadigan combining with his back line, which is composed of center backs Aymar Sanchez and Julian Bazan. Something promising. Once again, going forward again here, and it'll be a free kick awarded. Nice run down the middle of the pitch. Earns some trippage, and it's a good distance away from goal, so you're thinking some sort of lofted service here. First set piece of the day for Red Bull 2. And they found an open man, and they combine oh so sweetly, but the offside flag goes up. Restart quickly taken, and Union 2 going in the other direction. Oh, you'll love the 1-2 off of two headers on that set piece, but the positioning not quite right there for the visitors. That's the kind of quality, though, you expect, though, from both of these teams as far as what's going to take to find the back of the net, of course. Still lacking the precision there, though, to actually count. Nelic. We'll tap it forward, and that'll be an easy foul to call. Galin Radosov, our head official once again. Here's a look at that, what was almost a goal. I think that's going to be the first person who took a piece of that one, Julian Bazan, who was offside because he ends up heading it backwards. I think that was just a matter of inches. It was not very far off from being onside. So you may have saw right before we took a peek at that almost goal, Andy Rojas picks up the first yellow card in this game. Sanka Bungi. Options going forward, so he'll track it back to Aymar Sanchez. Moello. Bring it back to Bazan, who was the offside man in that close call. Coach Don Vollert described matches with Philly as, well, they're our neighbors, so these games are always special. As we get another booking here. There's a little bit of animosity when these two teams duke it out. That's what you want. That's what you're expecting in a game like this. Of course, you don't want to pick up a card in the first 15 minutes of the match. Giovanni Sequeira, the one picking up his third yellow of the season. This popped all the way back to Shevzik. He just has to make sure it doesn't go into immediate danger. Union 2 pick up the ball once again. It's a good example of what the home team offers here. Coach Don Vollert mentioned that they're a direct and physical side. And they could be onto something here. Cutting pass, played just wide. Stash Korzanowski nearly breaking the deadlock here. This portion of the match is brought to you by Subaru of America. Red Bull New York spent a little more time this week than usual practicing defending long balls because that is something that this Union 2 team is going to test you with. And they have got some dogs at the top of the formation. Alek Jakupovic and Stash Korzanowski, both proven goal scorers in the league, not only in previous seasons, but this year as well. 6 goals combined between the two of them. Mentioned earlier that Union 2 are looking to put in a better showing in this bout between these two sides than the first meeting of the season. Ryan Richter saying that they've improved a lot since that first match. They were just so sloppy on first passes. The decision making was just rough, as a good decision being made here. Could be onto something. Excellent defending and a great save Tobias Shevzik with the splits. The kick save, knocking it out of bounds. Korzanowski once again knocking on the door. And although the efforts won't produce the end result he was hoping for, it at least gives them a corner. Union 2, a side that in that first game, Ryan Richter said defensively not too bad, but they were tactically committed defensively, but then they'd lose the ball immediately after winning it back, and then you'd have to quickly shift to defending once again, and eventually you're going to concede some chances doing that. And so that first pass after you win the ball back, so important, especially if it's a pass that you can move into transition. Curling ball sent in, and no one can get on the receiving end of it. Couple of bodies close by, but no one to actually get that final touch on it to at least test Shevzik. And with all the negative assessments that Union 2 had about that two-point affair where they got more points than Red Bull New York 2 in that first meeting, it is the exact opposite assessment for Dominic Vollert and his team. He felt that they were dominant in that game, and so I think both the coaches could be in agreement about how the game actually unraveled as another booking is issued here in the first half of action. Just 20 minutes in, and this is going to be our third yellow card. So Mateus De Paula will get his third yellow card of the season. So as far as the performance is concerned, Red Bull New York 2 were very pleased with that first game these two teams played against each other this season. They didn't allow a ton of chances to be created, and offensively they were on the front foot, so there wasn't a ton to ask to be better going into this second matchup from the perspective of the visitors, and they were able to keep it on the ground, break their lines. They were clean against the pressure, controlled the transition moments. Basically, what he wants, talking about Dominic Vollert, is to repeat that performance, but then reward themselves for that performance, because they weren't able to score until the dying moments of that game in order to give themselves even a chance at a point, let alone all three, which perhaps was the result that they deserved in that game. It's been a bit more even-handed in this one, if not leaning in favor of the home team up to this point. A couple of good chances that have not quite been converted by Union 2. Big stretch of games here for the home side. 4 home matches in a row, so the large bulk of the month of May, they will not have to do any traveling, Union 2. Doesn't necessarily mean, though, that there's any overarching messaging as far as this stretch is concerned, or if there's any sort of objective of how many points you want to get during this span of time with how dynamic rosters are and players shifting up and down the ladder. It's not like you can challenge the same group of 20-ish players to generate some good results over 4 straight games, because it might be an entirely different collection of players game to game, especially when you're at home, and so there's a little more ease of fluidity between the academy, the first team, and the second team. So Ryan Richter said they're taking it game by game. Can't really go too big picture, at least as far as the perspective of the second team is concerned. You're thinking big picture in the perspective of each individual player and what their future holds and what the developmental plans are. But from the team perspective, you kind of just have to roll with it one game at a time. That's a lovely ball overhead. Off balance, but still playing it towards goal. It drifts wide. An appeal for a foul won't be given. Jakupovic making the run. Just 16 years old, but he has already proven that he is a problem in MLS Next Pro action. His second year playing with the second team, had 8 goals last season, already has 3 goals this season. This portion of the match is brought to you by WSFS Bank. 25 minutes into this affair, both sides with some very near conversions, but we stand at 0-0 so far. Busy slate of games today in MLS Next Pro action, as it usually is the case on a Sunday. I appreciate you tuning in here to get the day started. It'll keep going until about midnight Eastern time, from here until LASC 2 and Whitecaps 2. A lot of matches in between. Of course, one that these two teams will be interested in is how Crown Legacy and Orlando City B unravels. How good these two programs are and how great the start Crown Legacy is having. Although we're only in May, sometimes just 1 or 2 results are the difference between getting that home field advantage or having the second seed, as this shot will sail over top. New York 2, the reigning champions in MLS Next Pro. Of course, not coached by Michael Bradley anymore, as he's jumped up to the first team, but Dominic Vollert has stepped in, and they're off to a fantastic start this season. They have not been defeated in regulation yet. 5 wins, 2 draws. Nice to have that relationship, though, with Michael Bradley as the second team head coach. He has the ability to understand exactly what you're going through and what your operating is looking like, as Union 2 will see if they can unlock something in the attacking third before retreating. This will roll all the way back to Andrew Rick. First teamer in a supplemental spot on the MLS roster. The roles were kind of reversed, though, at first between Michael Bradley and Dominic Vollert, because Vollert was an assistant coach on the first team when Bradley came in to take over the second team. They were able to establish a relationship then, and that's just continued now that he's the first team coach and Vollert's the second team coach. Vollert had nothing but good things to say about Bradley in particular. Mentioned that he earned that first team job, has had a clear identity for this program, and they talk every day about each other's matches, about development, player movement. So it's been a great dynamic between the two of them, and that's so important as far as that relationship between the second and first team and how that can benefit both ends of it. Usually when that's a fluid and there's a shared understanding between those two programs, it results in more winning for both sides. After things were a bit hectic in the first 15 or so minutes, match has settled down just a smidge. Tobias Shevzik lofting this one up the pitch. Offside flag goes up after what was nearly a rough giveaway for the visitors. Shevzik drilling it up the pitch. Not a bad looking ball. Rojas trying to take it forward. Ends up getting dispossessed. A glance will roll it back into the penalty area. A little too much pushing there, though, will mean a free kick for Union 2. This portion of the match is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Shevzik standing up the middle, able to find Bazan. Some good strength being shown here. Andy Rojas still going with it. Andrew Rick called into action really for the first time today. Good strength being demonstrated by the 20-year-old Costa Rican striker, Andy Rojas. On shoulder to shoulder with Finn Sundstrom and able to get the shot away. There'll be a throw in the attacking third for Red Bull New York 2. Masanka Bungie will be the one to throw it in. Defended, and once again, Red Bull New York 2 gonna push forward. Nicely slid ball with a touch, going down in the area. Ref says it's fair play. That won't be. It'll be a free kick for Union 2. That back line and defensively, Union 2 being called into work here several moments in a row. Pretty experienced group along that back four for Ryan Richter, especially that center back pairing of Finn Sundstrom and Rafael Uzcategui. Center back dynamic in general. Been a growing process as those two develop an understanding for each other, as Red Bull New York 2 are once again on the prowl. All knocked out for a visitor throw. That dynamic between Uzcategui and Sundstrom, though, it's been a budding partnership. They're learning to play together, understanding the cues, who steps, who holds in different moments. Solid guys who are good leaders. Here come Red Bull New York 2. That pass, lacking some quality there. A couple of good options, but it doesn't reach any of them. Paula threading it forward. Excellent work there from Amar Moello, slowing down the runner, and then Julian Bazan picking up the ball and getting it out of harm's way. Davis feeds it into the middle. Couple of tight passes, nearly trickling to something. Hopeful ball goes over to the right-hand side for Dennis Yangor. We'll slide it to Cadigan, who squares it to Masanka Bungi. Free kick awarded by Kalin Radosov. Two quality programs duking it out here between Union 2 and Red Bull New York 2. Dominic Bullard said their side looks forward to these games. We know their quality, they know ours. It's two strong programs, and you can see why as far as the track record these two teams pose and where they stand in the 2026 season as well in the next pro standings. This one given away, could brew into something. Korzanowski has to go out wide. Trickles back to Sundstrom, and he'll drag it to his goalkeeper, Andrew Rick. Jordan Griffin, who hasn't had a ton of the ball today, will give it back to his center back partner, Finn Sundstrom, and he'll try to build it from the goalkeeper. Rush up the pitch once again. Shot taken towards goal, and it bounces wide. Not a bad shot there. This wasn't quite sharp enough, as once again, Union 2 come up empty-handed. Both sides have thrown some punches, but nothing has resulted in a direct hit. Griffin will play it forward, but some good pressure there from Red Bull 2. We're going to get another booking. Yellow card issued to Finn Sundstrom, his third yellow card of the season.
Yellow card caution has been issued to Union 2, number 66, Finn Sundstrom.
So that is the third yellow on the home team. Andy Rojas also has one for the visitors, but 4 total yellow cards here in the first half of action. These are all players who will have to be conscious about what decisions they make in the second half, what challenges they opt to step into. Osaka Bungie rolling it to his left for Nelic. Dennis Nelic feeding it into the middle. And that clearance had some air underneath it and ended up not traveling a far distance. Good work there from Giovanni Sakara to draw the contact and put a hold to any sort of danger there for Red Bull New York 2. Bazan rolls it over to Moello as they try to build this through the middle. Nelic will track this one down in the left channel. Dennis Nelic. Well, breaking out the scissors there. And it's out for a goal kick. Excellent defending. Gets between the player and the ball and just escorts it out from then. Giovanni Sakara once again stepping up and making it happen for his side. Watching Red Bull New York 2 visit Union 2, second meeting of the season between these two sides. A lot of big games in the history between these two programs, of course, meeting in the Eastern Conference Final last season. 60 degrees right now in Chester. If you asked me what the perfect weather for playing the sport is, my preference would be right around 60 degrees. Some like it a little bit warmer, but even if it's not your number one preference, this is pretty excellent weather to be playing soccer in. Ball still trickling about. Cleared away for a free kick, though. So even if anyone was able to put their laces through that one towards goal, it wouldn't have counted. Pressure being offered here to this Red Bull back line. Mitchell trying to lay it off to his right-hand side. He has it once again. It's poked through the middle. Mitchell has it now. He shoots. Didn't have a ton of venom on that shot. Back into the attacking third, but the whistle sounds and will put a halt to what was transpiring here. Good idea there from Kellen LeBlanc. He had Korzanowski running. Just not enough loop on that pass. Need to go up a little bit higher to get over the defender. Bazon rolling it over to Moello. Rolled over to Masaka Bunky. Pass played behind Nelic, who then feeds it into the middle. Yangar is offside. See there, 2 more minutes tacked on before the halftime whistle sounds. Both sides still sitting on goose eggs on the scoreline, though both have come awfully close to landing something. Whistle sounds, and there could be a head injury situation here as Andy Rojas gets a talking to. He's already on a yellow card, and I'm sure that's what Radosov is telling him. Sundstrom, the center back, still on the ground, and Kalin Radosov will wave on the training staff. Sundstrom, just 19 years old. Another one of the supplemental slot players for this Union team. Has a ton of pro experience already, playing in USL Championship with North Carolina FC, which is where he developed. Hope it's nothing too serious here for Finn Sundstrom. Started practically every game this season. He's played in every match. Started in 6 of them. And has 1 goal already to his name here with The next pro side also has picked up an MLS appearance. Good to see him back up on his feet, and now he just has to be waved back onto the pitch. You always have to be so careful with those head injuries, or at least potential head injuries. We have gone 3 minutes over the 2 allocated, but obviously half of the 2 minutes were occupied by checking up on Finn Sundstrom, so it's up to our head official when this whistle will sound. Borzanowski. He was offside. And there is the halftime whistle. Both sides have taken their swings, but no one has landed the punch yet. Our score at half is 0-0 between Philadelphia and New York. Coming up on our halftime show, one of the best young stars in MLS traces his soccer roots. After this brief timeout, we'll see you then.
Yeah, boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still staying ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now. Oh yes, man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Welcome back to Subaru Park. Wednesday night, Julian Hall scored the first goal in a wild match for the Red Bulls after helping Red Bulls 2 to the MLS Next Pro Cup Championship last season. Let's track the remarkable journey of this rising star.
Julian Hall! Remember the name! It's that man again, Julian Hall! Goal, it goes in! Mehmeti, has he broken through here? Mehmeti across, Hall! Swinging ball towards the back post, it goes! Opening goal for Red Bull New York, Julian Zakshevsky Hall!
Born in Manhattan, New York, Julian Hall found the game the same way a lot of kids in this city do.
I first kind of started playing soccer when I was around 4 years old. I would play a lot wherever I could. if it was a field near my apartment or wherever I could, basically. And I just remember, falling in love with the game and wanting to play as much as I can. There's a main place I would play. It's pretty popular in Manhattan. It's called Pier 40, and a lot of people go there. That's where I played with Manhattan Kickers. It's kind of where I really started to realize I really wanted to play soccer seriously and maybe make it professionally.
That love for the game turned into an opportunity, a move into one of the top academies in the country.
Julian came into our system at U14. I think he played about 3 or 4 games with the U14s. I was a U15 coach at the time, so I was observing those games, and you could see straight away he was a special talent. So he quickly got moved up an age group to play with the U15s that season. Made an instant impact with the older age groups.
The level changed quickly, and so did the expectations.
I was very excited to come in and show my ability, and I was playing with my age and I was playing a year up, and the intensity was a different level, I would say, from what I've ever played at that point in my life. So yeah, no, it's an amazing experience.
Chimueno scored off the bench against Seattle, and Julian Hall with the breakthrough! The Golden Boot leader rises to the occasion, and we've got an electric finish here in the U15 final.
He's one of those players that can get you up off your feet. Like, he's direct, he can take players on, he can score goals from inside the box, outside the box in really different ways. And, it would always amaze you how he would find goals in the game.
The next step brought a new set of challenges.
That was the biggest jump for me, going from academy to professional football. The intensity, the physicality, the football, it was all quicker than anything I had experienced before. And, I just thought I did a good job of staying level-headed and not being discouraged about little things.
Working to the midfield, now Gonzalez entering the box, across and a goal! Julian Hall puts the Red Bulls 2 on the board.
I was lucky to be coached by Ibrahim Sakaya, and Bradley Wright Phillips was there a lot of the time as well. They did a good job of helping me progress and helping me not get discouraged and keep going every single day and working hard. The coaching staff really mended me very well.
Like, he's always striving to try and get better at something within games and training. And then, why he adapts well, he's a natural goal scorer.
For Julian, it was about staying level and keeping the work the same.
Jules.
When you go to a professional environment, if you're doing the most amount of work and you're clearly working harder than everyone else, it stands out to a lot of people, and that can be something that separates you from everyone else. If you're a hard worker, that could get you to a lot of places, and I think that's just something that established me when I first came into the first team.
That work and mentality has paid off with the fast start of the season.
We're really happy with the way that he's moving himself forward. He has taken the ideas and has really shown that he is picking things up. Obviously, there's the attacking part, his ability to find chances, his ability to take balls on the move, to dribble, to go by guys, run in the box. The part that goes with it is how much work he does for us against the wall, how much pressing, how much sprinting, how much chasing, how much work he does to really make the game difficult on the other team. And so we're really, really happy with the progress that he's made. We're going to continue to push him.
As he continues to grow, so does the chemistry with his teammates around him.
I've known Julian for a very long time now. I see the way he works in training. I'm getting to know him more and more, obviously, as we play together on and off the field. And then when I step onto the field, I know where he's going to be on the field, what his positioning is like, where he wants the ball, left foot, right foot. And we're kind of growing that connection, which has been going in a really good way, and hopefully, to grow that connection even more.
Mehmeti, has he broken through here? Mehmeti across, Hall! 2-0!
I think it's just the trust with the coaching staff. Coach Michael, he's done a great job with us during preseason and putting trust in me to start the first couple games. It's a lot of credit to him for putting his belief in me. Obviously, I have to go out there and perform to the best of my ability, and thankfully, I've got a couple goals so far. The goal is to keep progressing throughout the season.
Talent and work ethic have helped Julian's dreams come true faster than even he could have predicted.
I've always dreamt of becoming a professional soccer player, but I never really expected it to happen so fast, to be honest. You know, earlier that year, I was still just playing academy, and I was progressing well, but I never thought it would lead to signing a contract later that year. So it's kind of a lesson there just to be ready for anything, and anything can happen very, very quickly. You really just have to put your all into whatever you're doing, and things can happen. I think a big thing is just self-belief, because when I was playing in MLS Next, I was signing a contract later that season. I had no idea. I did not have a plan on signing that year. That was not in my plan at all. I think things like that can come from just you doing as much as you can, and things will just happen by itself, you know. As long as you're working hard and giving 100% every single day, you know, good things will happen. And, you know, thankfully things came to me that year, and, you know, you got to be grateful, and you got to use it as much as you can to your abilities.
Scoreless here in Subaru Park after 45 minutes. We've got another 45 upcoming, but not quite yet. Mark Schoenster with you here on MLSNextPro.com and on OneFootball. Let's take a look and go wide lens here and talk about what else is going on in the league right now across MLS Next Pro. As we are holding on and waiting for this one to get going again. These are some of the scores from yesterday. Talk about Austin FC2 against their Texan rivals, North Texas, getting a 4-0 drubbing. And then closing off the day, a pretty interesting match between St. Louis City 2 and Minnesota United 2, neither of which able to find the back of the net. And then, you know, we ride all the way back to Friday, which is how the week had started, with Quakes 2 and Ventura County doing battle. A lot of good matchups across each of these conferences, and a lot of those are involving the Western side. There's a lot of good Eastern Conference games coming up, including the top of the table later today, and then we've got the rest of this next week, where we've got games just about every single day, from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday into Friday, of course, including that next match for Red Bulls 2, which is a pretty early affair against Toronto. Then on May 13th will be the next time that Union 2 will be playing a game, so they actually get a considerable amount of time off, 10 days to be precise, before they play New England Revolution 2. So that's the next time these two teams will have battle. Now we've looked around the league, let's take a peek at the highlights from the first 45 minutes of action between these two sides. No goals to be found, but certainly chances for both teams that, with just a shred of more quality or sharpness, could have resulted in a goal for either of these two teams. Union 2, probably the better bulk of the chances. See Korzanowski nearly breaking through there. And then he'd have another go at it. It's a wonderful kick save from Tobias Shevsik. And a looping ball over top. Jakubovic nearly combining with Korzanowski there, or even finding the far post all by himself before Red Bull 2 would get their first real look of the game. Of course, they did have a ball hit the back of the net in the opening stages of the match, but it was called offside, so ultimately a chance that wouldn't count at the end of the day, though it was awfully close, so perhaps still their closest encounter was scoring. But after 45 minutes, 0-0 is your score line here. Will it remain that way after another 45 minutes? There's only one way to find out, and that's to stay locked in right here. We can't wait to get the second half started.
fun season of MLS Next Pro.
Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
The unique energy of a Sunday night. Ideal for calm music, whispers, stargazing, reflection, and a relaxed environment. Sunday nights were made for this.
Back here for the second half of action. Both sides readying to retake the pitch here. Mark Schoenster with you here on MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. It is Red Bull 2 and Union 2 doing battle once again. A lot of time between these two sides sharing the pitch together. These are two teams that go back even pre-MLS Next Pro days, all the way back to when they played in the USL and whatever competition they could meet up in, as far back as 2016. Both sides have been in it and have been about the development of these players, playing against other professionals even before a lot of the MLS teams were in on that idea. There's no wonder that these are two programs that have done so well in developing talent and getting guys to performing at a high level, not only with their first team, but also even getting sent abroad. The whistle sounds from Kalin Radosov, and we are off and running here for another 45 minutes at Subaru Park. It's still scoreless between these two sides. Will that remain the case after another half of action here? Can't wait to get it started. Mark Schoenster with you here, and let's see what the conclusion is to this matchup. Should it be tied after 90, we will go to pens, which is what happened the first time these two teams met this season. How about the dribbling here? Play towards goal. Kick saved by Shevsik once again. Demonstrating that flexibility, and he is tested immediately after the whistle. You see the jostling there from Stash Korzanowski. Ball drilled across the middle, chested down, volley towards goal, and had a decent shape to it, but will ultimately be off target. Player down for Union 2. You see here the substitutions from the end of the half. Reloading up top for Red Bull 2. Meanwhile, William Ferreira coming on for Eddie Davis here on the Union 2 side of things. So Rojas and Mitchell are done. And then Paul Sokolov and Mihir Jimenez will take their place. Eddie Davis seeing his day come to a conclusion for William Ferreira on the Philly side of things. So 3 changes total to the personnel on the pitch. Andrew Rick will boot this one to midfield where it's tapped back towards his goal by Red Bull 2. LeBlanc, persistent along that touch line. Strong there from DePaula as it rotates over and trickles over to the back line where Uzcategui picks it up. Not a bad idea there as Jakubovic was making the run. After things were pretty hectic in the opening stages of this match, there was a settling period in the middle before really Union 2 had a bevy of chances as now Red Bull 2 trying to have an opportunity. Couple of pokes and it's cleared away by Union 2. Out to the right-hand side. Fed down the middle. Jakubovic still with it. Then he has the ball just wrestled away from him. Opportunity here, and it's play on goal! Union 2 score! It's the opener for Philly. And it's maybe the most usual suspect, Stash Korzeniowski, able to slide it home. Stash Korzeniowski, the first teamer, already has a handful of appearances with the MLS side this season. Was impressive last year with the second team in his first year with the second team. Him alongside Jakubovic had 8 goals and then also had an assist to boot. It'll be his 4th goal here in year 2 with this club. And what a pace he is at right now. Just his 3rd appearance, 4 goals, 1 assist this season. The breakthrough has been provided in this match. And Union 2 are hungry for a second. Long distance effort, easy for Shevzik to claim. A little bit loose on the dribble there by Masaka Bungi. Shevzik will run out to catch that hopping ball. Some extra fire here for Union 2 now that they've gotten the goal, winning the ball back in the attacking half. Cross swinging inside, headed towards goal, but ultimately straight at the keeper by William Ferreira. And now he is down inside the penalty box, and they'll have to check up on him. Another free kick awarded. Red Bull 2 will win possession. This portion of the match is brought to you by Bimbo Bakeries USA. Rotated over to the right-hand side. Yangor on the ball now. Hopeful pass near the corner of the penalty area. Doesn't quite reach the intended target. There's Katsugi putting this one up the pitch, nodded to the right-hand side by Jakupovic. Sundstrom up the pitch. It ends up trickling through. Flag stays down. Korzanowski rolling it across the middle. Can anything be done with it here by Ferreira? Slides it back out wide. Service from Jordan Griffin doesn't reach anybody he was hoping for it to reach. Just now tuning in. It's a 1-0 lead for Union 2. Lovely weather today at Subaru Park, around 60 degrees. Let's see how Red Bull New York 2 respond. Lots of compliments being thrown the way of the players by Coach Dom Vollert, saying that training has been really good all season. Laid out their core qualities at the beginning of the year, set the culture, and now the players are the ones driving that culture. It's competitive every day, every week. And that's helped it translate to the pitch. They haven't been bested yet in 90 minutes, and right now they're facing their first loss in regulation this season. Of course, they didn't score until late in the last meeting between these two sides to force penalty kicks, so certainly not out of the woods yet if you're Union 2. They know that better than anybody. Appeals for a handball, falls back to the striker. Dennis Yangor let it fly. but he couldn't quite stretch the goalkeeper enough. The Norwegian trying to put that one away. Well, he rolled forward for Korzanowski. He'll take it himself. Tried to tuck it near post. Already has 1 goal in this game. He's trying to get a second. Korzanowski, he's offside on this occasion. Worth is fouled. Two changes getting ready here for Red Bull 2. Looks like Connor Fiello and Benny Rodriguez getting ready to be changed, and that will now happen. So that's the end of the debut at the next pro level for Joyu Masanka Bungi. Connor Fiello will take his place over at that spot, and on the other side, Benny Rodriguez subbing on for Aymar Moello. So 2 academy players getting the chance to get some more burn here. Neither of them, though, inexperienced with playing at this level despite being on academy contracts. Yangor doesn't get very far. Vejera trying to feed it over to the right-hand side, and then it's rolled in centrally to DePaula. Jakupovic. Griffin on the ball, rolls it back to Uzcategui. There's Andrew Rick. Jakupovic able to chase this ball and wins it for his side. Squares it over to Vejera. William Vejera cutting inside. And it took a glance. It's out for a corner. It's been pretty one-way traffic here in the second half. Union 2 been on the front foot. And they want a 2-goal lead to show for it. And they conjure up something here from the corner. Knocked out of the box, but Union 2 maintain the ball. Vejera. Trying to keep Red Bull 2 pinned back. Service tapped away, and this will be carried all the way back to Andrew Rick, who's going to have to deal with this without using his hands. Does a pretty darn good job. This free kick gives Red Bull 2 a chance to get the ball in the attacking half, and also just a moment of reprieve defensively. Play goes on here. Sent forward a couple of taps and a shot that didn't have a ton of pace on it. Rolls to Andrew Rick. He plays it out to William Fajera, whom subbed into the game here in the second half. Second year playing with the second team, just 17 years old, William Fajera, and a guy who's kind of in a different position than he was last year with the club. Ryan Richter talking about how last season he could just come on as a sub and show his individual quality and just kind of go out there and play, which is kind of what you want in a substitution. But as a starter, you have to fit in more tactically. And so obviously that's a bit of an adjustment, but he's starting to do that, and now they want to start seeing that individual quality again that he showcased, especially last year when he played coming off the bench. And I think he can affect the game more with goals and assists. He's got 2 assists last season. He has 1 assist this season. But if you're 17 years old and you're getting professional minutes, you're doing some things right. Couple of good passes here for the visitors. Couple of apt touches before it's rolled out wide. Given away and rolled up the pitch to Korzanowski. Julian Bazan is there first, though. Another booking being issued here. Dennis Yangor getting his second card of the season. First teamer from Norway. Fajera has Korzanowski in the middle. He tries to step inside, though. Looking to slice that one over to the right hand. Pressure keeps it with Union 2 for the moment. Oh, how about that from LeBlanc? He'll roll it out wide, and getting there first is Faello. And now New York will push in the other direction. Just hasn't been a lot going forward for the team here in the second half. This portion of the match brought to you by Language Services Associates. We'll see what other adjustments will be made by these two coaches. Offside flag goes up here. Dominic Vollert, the man in charge of Red Bull 2. What'll he craft up as this one slipped through nicely, and it rolls across the goal line. Mihir Jimenez. Just enough juice on that shot. He ties this game at 1 apiece. Just fractions of a second in time. It crosses the line. And Mihir Jimenez gets his second of the season. The Panamanian forward leveling this game in what is really one of the first chances, if not the first chance here in the second half for Red Bull 2. That's all it takes, though, with a quality striker. They just need one moment. It was a lovely threaded ball. He was the only one reading the run because no one was around him once the ball reached him. And then he just had to get it by Andrew Rick and pass it to the goal with enough pace, and it was just enough pace. So we are all tied up once again. And could this be a boost for the visiting side? They've been very reactionary for a ton of this second half. Two changes, readying for Union 2 following the conceding of the lead that they had claimed, and they were really close to finding a second goal to pad their advantage, and now suddenly the question is who scores this next goal and who could potentially claim all 3 points in this game. Got about 20 more minutes to go, plus some change. I was talking about Dominic Vollert and his experiences as a player and his first stop as a coach were both with Hertha Berlin, as these changes will now be made for Ryan Richter's side. Sal Olivas will sub on the first teamer for Kellen LeBlanc. And then Oscar Benitez will step on and take the place of Mamutu Berte. Fun tie between Benitez and Red Bull. Spent almost 2 years at Red Bull Bragantino in their U20 program in Brazil, one of the many Red Bull teams across the world. So he's certainly familiar with the logo of his opposition. But he'll be looking to come in and help his side do some damage. Ball lifted over to the right-hand side, fishing for Yangor. It won't reach him. And he's got his feet on it here now, but it's tight in the corner. This portion of the match is brought to you by Kinetic Physical Therapy. Now, how about that work? Ball slicing in the middle. Couldn't reach a white jersey. And could Union 2 be rushing in the other direction? A lot of work needing to be done here by Korzanowski.
Yeah, they were saying that they have to cut what if they were actually going to send something. Yeah, I'm here. They asked me to bring
another opportunity brewing. Yangor across the middle! And it's converted for Red Bull 2. From trailing to leading, all it takes is a couple of moments. It can happen so quickly. I believe that was Dennis Nelich on the receiving end of that service from Yangor. And after looking like a team that was just suffering constantly here in this second half, the vibe can change in just a handful of moments, and that's what's happened here for the visitors. Are they hunting for a third? On the other side of things, ball drilled across the middle. Cleared out of danger. Red Bull 2 once again on the move here. Well, how about that step from Nelich? Working his way inside! A shot from beyond the 18 ends up being well off target. Nelich fresh off of scoring, working with some confidence now. Having picked up his second goal of the season, the 18-year-old. Another one of those academy contract players, but he has had quite a bit of burn this season, this being his 5th start, 7th appearance. The lines are always so blurry between the academy, the second team, the first team, where you could see any sort of combination of players from the three parties in any given game. And as the saying goes, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So, 18-year-old Dennis Nelich, not even the most extreme example of a young player out there producing. I mean, we have Alek Jakupovic on the other side at 16 years old, and this is his second year with regular minutes in Next Pro. So, you do the math, 15 years old, doing damage last season. And they're going to be looking for him to find something here in this match. Trailing for the first time in this game after taking the lead early in the second half of action. Vollert had so many good things to say about this New York Red Bull program when I asked him to sort of compare the differences between working here and working in Hertha Berlin and in Germany. He said the daily structure is fairly similar, and maybe the only difference you could really find between the two is maybe sometimes the talent you're working with, but I think even that's probably not too different nowadays with the kind of quality that Red Bull has been able to generate. But he did get to work with Matteo Guendouzi and Mateus Cunha over in Hertha. Cunha with Manchester United getting a victory earlier today against Liverpool, so he's certainly doing well for himself. Here's a free kick for Union 2. Swinging in and dealt with nicely. Yeah, but Fuller mentioned he learned a lot in Germany, but is still learning with Red Bull as well. He said there's so much talent in this building, both players and coaches, and it's an environment where everybody involved is trying to take the next step, both players and coaches. He's inspired every day working with this group as they're looking for another goal here, and it ends up being easy work for Andrew Rick. Benny Rodriguez making the run forward. Another yellow card being issued here. Kalin Radosov, our head official. Sokolov getting his first booking of the season. Just 16 years old. Already has a goal in his career in this season. You could say it's his second year playing with the second team, though he only had one appearance in 2025, so really this being his first year being a more regular member of the team, this being his fourth appearance in 2026, and already has a goal under his belt. Played just over 80 minutes coming into this match, so he was been pretty efficient with his time so far, but now he's got a booking. Oh, Tobias Shevzik had to get that right. Union 2 looked so in control, especially after scoring the goal to open up this second half. And it was just one brief moment that New York Red Bull 2 were able to find a response, and then they were able to generate a couple more looks that gave them the second goal. You wonder if the home side can muster up anything in answer now that they have had the chance to get the ball again in the attacking half, though that moment wasn't dangerous enough. Ball sent over the top, and the rolling effort not too difficult for Shevzik. Katagi rolled over to Griffin as they try to build it forward. Time becoming of the essence here for Union 2. Could be a counterattack opportunity now for the visitors. Nelic. And now over to the right-hand side for Rodriguez. Yangor. To the left it goes. Well, how about that nifty move from Faello? Yangor. Up to Rodriguez. With a turn. It was intended to be a threaded pass, but doesn't quite have that effect. But they could be onto something here. Jumping into the passing lane. I think that was a friendly fire block there. Couple of moments for Red Bull 2 to perhaps find some cushion, but wasn't to be, which means this is still within grasp for Philadelphia. Sekera on the ball now for Union 2. Going for the long ball. Was trying to get in the vicinity of Korzeniowski, and although you can't blame him for the attempt, it's going to need to be a little bit more accurate than that if they're going to give their big guy up top a shot. Korzeniowski really been so dangerous with the minutes that he's been provided here with the second team as a first-team player himself. It's always such a balancing act that you have to do with the second team because you've got players who are signed to you as a second team. Then you've got your first teamers who are going to come down, get minutes. You got your academy players who are going to bump up and take some minutes. And Ryan Richter talked about how they've got plans for the development of every single player that gets a chance to play in these matches. And yeah, there is a certain responsibility to keep some of the first teamers sharp with some minutes just in case they need to be called into action with the first team in big moments. But also, they have to be contributing. That's not just a guarantee that they're going to play because they want to keep their players sharp for the first team, because if a first teamer doesn't approach the match right, then they're going to get pulled. So there's still that bar, that standard that has to be held. I mean, look, Union 2 is trying to win games here, and it's obviously a similar situation with the first team as well, as now we're going to get a change for Red Bull 2 as Dennis Nelich, who currently has the go-ahead goal, subs off for Cameron Harper. First teamer who has been working his way back from surgery, another first-team player. Had right knee surgery 2025, made one appearance this season, coincidentally also against Union 2. So Harper trying to get back to match fitness so then he can start getting more appearances with the first team. He already has over 100 with the club. This being his 6th year as a member of the Red Bull New York first team. I'll be hoping not only, of course, to get some running in here and maybe feel some contact, but also maybe find a third goal for his side. It could be a chance here. Ball slid forward. Excellent work by Andrew Rick. Didn't allow for any deflecting as the ball hit his chest. That last touch just a little loose, allowing for the clearance to be made. Just a couple more minutes left in this match. All 3 goals having taken place here in the second half after both sides were close to scoring in the first half but couldn't quite put it together. Certainly have done so here in the second 45. First, it was the home team taking the lead and really having a lot of control, but one goal can really change the tenor of a match, both, of course, on the score sheet, but also just in the flow of the game. Both sides contenders in the Eastern Conference. Both sides trying to keep up with Crown Legacy at the top of the table. These are 2 teams that are usually in conversation for home field advantage once we start getting to the closing stages of the regular season. Bit of a rivalry between these 2 sides as well. Close proximity. Both have good reputations in this league. Nothing being let easy happen here by Red Bulls 2. I mean, here Jimenez, who got that first goal for the visitors that really flipped the switch. Now they're just trying to hang on as we're in the 90th minute. Foul's called. For a moment, advantage was allowed, but once it seemed to be developing nowhere. Kalin Radosov sounding the whistle. Ball ripped inside, chested down, play towards goal. Saved by Shevzik. And he's able to actually not even pick up the ball. Run off a couple more seconds as we see 4 more minutes tacked on. That is the amount of time that Union 2 have to fish for an equalizer. Last time these 2 teams played, it was a Paul Sokolov equalizer in the 93rd minute for Red Bull 2. So Union will be looking to dish back what was handed to them in the previous meeting. Of course, New York Red Bull 2, or Red Bull New York 2, I should say, will of course have the exact opposite intentions as this one is looking to be slipped through. Tobias Shevzik, his center back pairing of Amar Sanchez and William Bazan, will be hanging tight here. Bazan, who made his debut with any of the first or second team last game out against Crew 2. He is a first team player, but this is a chance for him to get acclimated to the system, and Dominic Voller had nothing but good things to say about Bazan, calling him an outstanding personality, someone who has come in and taken the responsibility of being a leader immediately. Been communicating with the guys. He's calm in possession, ready to shift defensively when needed. He added in a goal, which he did score in that game to make it 4-1, and pretty complete performance against Crew 2. And now they're hoping he can have that with the first team, but until then, they'll be happy to have his complete performances here with the second squad. Two more minutes to go. This one generated over to the right-hand side. Played across the center! It's Korzanowski again! But the offside flag pops up, denying him the pleasure. It looked to be level for just a moment. Let's see where he's at. Yeah, it does look like he's just cheated behind the back line. The timing there is always so particular. Can they find the back of the net yet another time without the flag going up? Ball poked away. Precious seconds winding off the clock. There's Katagi. Rolled it over to the right-hand side. Fed into the middle. Benitez. Tapping it behind him as we hit 94 minutes and a free kick is awarded. So sit tight. This may be the last interaction of this match. A set piece chance for Union 2. They're looking for an equalizer. Here comes the service. Bouncing out. Played over to the left. Sundstrom rolling it backwards. And the final whistle sounds. Down a goal. They flip the script in the second half. Red Bull New York 2 claim all 3 points here in Subaru Park. Let's take a look at today's man of the match. Had 2 goal scorers. Could have been Jimenez. Could have been Nelic. And we have decided to go with the game winner, which is Dennis Nelic of Red Bull 2. And here he is with the game-winning goal presented by Adidas. He's just making that runner on the left-hand side. He waves for it, and he just keeps on pushing. Slots it by the goalkeeper, gives his team the lead, and it would be the game winner in this matchup. As Red Bull 2 claim all 3 points on the road, stay perfect in 90 minutes, have not been bested in 90 minutes. 6-0-2 on the season. And that is where this show will conclude here on MLSNextPro.com and on OneFootball. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Mark Schoenster. Once again, our final score is 2-1 in favor of Red Bull New York 2. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. Y'all have a good rest of your day. There's a lot of other games to tune into, but we'll see you later.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.